Good morning. I'm Andy Myers at Weiss Research.
I'm Jen Amos, and this is your morning market alert for Friday, July 1st. We're looking at a relatively flat open on Wall Street, following 4 straight days of gains. Investor optimism has gotten a boost recently from Greece's approval of new austerity measures that are likely to win the struggling country more international aid. Yesterday's rally was also driven by a stronger than expected reading of business conditions in the Chicago area. Today, the Institute for Supply Management's Manufacturing Index may set the tone. It's expected to show even slower expansion in June after a big drop the previous month. That report is due out at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. Around the same time, we'll get a reading of construction spending in May, and Reuters and the University of Michigan will release their gauge of consumer sentiment for June. That index is likely held steady after a decline in May.
While a reading of the U.S. manufacturing sector may drive the markets here today, Asian investors are focusing on a similar report out of China. The country's official Purchasing Managers Index slipped more than a point last month to 50.9%. That was a bigger decline than expected, and it shows only marginal growth in Chinese manufacturing. Any reading above 50 indicates expansion. Meanwhile, manufacturing in the Eurozone expanded at its slowest pace in 18 months in June. And a similar indicator in the UK showed the slowest growth in 21 months. Despite those readings, stocks across Europe are modestly higher, but the euro is losing some ground against the dollar. It's had a big recent rally prompted by optimism about Greece's ability to meet its short-term debt obligations. And as the dollar rises today, crude oil is falling for the first time in 4 days. It's now well below $95 a barrel, while gold prices dip below $1,500 an ounce.
On the corporate front, the auto industry is likely to get the most attention from investors. The major automakers will be releasing their June domestic sales numbers throughout the day. It's expected to be another good month for Detroit's Big Three, as they likely continued to grab market share from the Japanese car makers. In May, General Motors, Ford, and Chrysler were the best-selling 3 car companies for the first time in 5 years. TrueCar.com is projecting double-digit gains for all 3 companies in June, with Chrysler having an especially strong month. Its sales are expected to rise 34%, thanks to solid sales of its Jeep Grand Cherokee and Dodge Durango vehicles. Japan's Honda and Toyota Motor are likely to post declines as they struggle to catch up with the global competition.
One more stock to keep an eye on today is the for-profit education provider Apollo Group. After yesterday's closing bell, it topped analyst estimates with a 15% increase in fiscal third quarter profit. The company also forecast earnings for this year and next that were in line with expectations. Following the report, FBR Capital boosted its price target on Apollo shares, and they're rising 4% in the pre-market. That's the latest from Weiss Research. We'll be back after the opening bell with all the market reaction.